Nothing worthwhile ever comes easy. It's the struggle that makes success taste sweeter. Fanny Blankers-Koen had 2 kids, 30 birthdays, and still won 4 gold medals. Carl Lewis replicated an Olympic feat that many thought impossible in the modern era. Mia Hamm came from outside the mainstream to capture the hearts and minds of all Americans. And in an age where little was expected of women, Babe Zaharias did everything and did it well. Adversity comes in many forms, but provides the spur to help champions rise against the odds.
I have no regrets at all.
In 1955, a home economics book for high school girls printed 10 rules for being a good housewife. These rules included have dinner ready and make him comfortable. Nowhere in its commandments did the writers think to include break records and win gold medals. The writers obviously had never met Fanny Blankers-Koen. In 1936, the Dutch athlete, aged just 18, competed at the Berlin Olympics in the 100 meters relay and high jump. 2 years later, she set a world record in the 100 yards, but her progress was scuppered by the outbreak of World War II. Despite the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands, despite food shortages, and despite giving birth to 2 children, Blankers-Koen continued to train. Not content to let her athletic prime go to waste, she broke the world record in the 80-meter hurdles twice. She destroyed the high jump record by a full 5 centimeters and set a long jump record that would stand for the next decade. She was an ironclad certainty to make the first post-war Olympics in London. For a 30-year-old mother of 2, such a decision was tantamount to spitting in the patriarchal punch bowl. How dare she invest her energies into anything other than her husband and children? I got very many bad letters, she told the New York Times later. People writing that I must stay home with my children and that I should not be allowed to run on a track with short trousers. If that wasn't enough, she also had to deal with the Olympic ruling that athletes could only compete in 3 individual sports. Given that Blankers-Koen had medals in several running distances and world records in both high and long jumping, she had to make a tough decision. In the end, she decided to focus on running, leaving her competitors to try and fail to break the jumping records she had set. Fanny Blankers-Koen arrived at the 1948 London Olympics past her athletic prime, with 2 children in tow and her own food due to post-war rationing. It was hardly the best springboard from which to set the world aflame. Fanny Blankers-Koen's gold rush. Next. English runner and favourite in the 200 metres, Audrey Williamson, summed up the perception of Fanny Blankers-Koen at the time. We thought, gosh, she's ancient. She was married and she had children. We couldn't sort of envisage it. One was written off at 25 then. A rain-soaked track at Wembley couldn't dampen Fanny's performance, as she easily took the gold in the 100 metres to become the first Dutch athlete to win an athletic Olympic title. Next was the 80 metres hurdles, where she faced another hometown hero in Maureen Gardner. Fanny fell behind late in the race as she clipped the 5th hurdle, but put on a final burst of speed to take the photo finish. Having won 2 golds, Fanny almost gave up the chance to compete in the 200 metres, Reportedly, her husband and trainer, Jan Blankers, convinced her otherwise. Fanny ended up beating Audrey Williamson, the woman who had thought her ancient, by the biggest ever margin in a 200-metre Olympic final. As the final runner in the 4x100 metres relay, she came back from third to win her 4th gold of the Games. It was her 11th race in only 8 days. She was only the 2nd person after Jessie Owens to win 4 athletic gold medals in a single Olympics. 2 years later, Blankers-Koen almost repeated her quadruple success at the European Championships, but could only take silver in the relay. In 1951, she adopted the pentathlon into her already extensive quiver of disciplines and set an early world record in the fledgling sport. For women, for mothers, for older athletes, Fanny Blankers-Koen redefined what is possible in so many ways. Her contribution to the sporting world was recognized by World Athletics in 1999 when they named her the top female athlete of the century. Dubbed the Flying Housewife by the press, to this day, Fanny Blankers-Koen's life remains a stunning example of how far you can go if you refuse to be underestimated by condescending social norms. Winning Olympic gold in a sporting discipline is supposed to be the most difficult achievement in the world. In some sports, like gymnastics or swimming, it is possible to win multiple gold if the disciplines fall under a similar umbrella. But in track and field, specialization is the order of the day. Even between the 100 and 200 meters, the most similar sprint lengths, double gold has only been achieved by 9 men. So when Jessie Owens went to Berlin in 1936 and won 4 athletic gold, it was considered a miraculous feat. The 100 and 200 meters, even the relay were understandable. At least they were all sprints. But Owens also won the long jump that year, a discipline so different it may as well have been a new sport. It was a performance of such magnitude that most considered it unrepeatable, until Fanny Blankers-Koen won 4 athletic gold 12 years later. But this was deep in the supposed amateur era of the Olympics, when legends like Roger Bannister might enjoy a brief athletic career before settling down to their real job. As money and prestige flooded into the Olympics, competition became much more serious, and the chances of winning 4 gold medals in athletics seemed forever out of reach. The progression of the long jump world record illustrates this perfectly. The record that Owens set in 1935 stood unchallenged for 25 years. But as athletes specialized in the sport, once it was broken, it was exceeded 14 times in the next 15 years. That 14th world record jump was performed by a teenager from Alabama named Carl Lewis, 10 days before his 20th birthday. That same year, 1981, Lewis had also run the 100 meters in 10 seconds flat, the 3rd fastest run in history. With Los Angeles hosting the Olympics in 1984, talk of Lewis matching Jessie Owens' legendary feat was beginning to spread. His preparation for LA was immaculate, fanning the flames of expectation. At the first ever World Championships alone, he won the long jump by 26 centimeters, ran the 200 meters in the 2nd fastest time in history, and broke the 4x100 meters relay world record. Lewis may have been a solid prospect to win all 4 of the events, but he knew as much as anyone that expectation and execution are sometimes miles apart.
Anyone can be beaten, and that's why you have to run the race that day. I wish that I could have just mailed in those 9 gold medals and just said, oh, it's okay, I'm the favorite, they give it to me. You have to run that day, and everyone can be beaten, and anyone can win.
But at the '84 Olympics, Lewis could not be beaten. He took the 100 metres in 9.99 seconds, won the long jump by 30 centimetres with his first jump, ran the 200 metres in the third fastest time in history, and once again broke the world record in the relay. At only 24 years old, Carl Lewis was now the biggest athlete in the world. How big? Despite never playing either basketball or football in any serious capacity, Carl Lewis was drafted into the NBA by the Chicago Bulls and to the NFL by the Dallas Cowboys. He never played a game for either team, but his athletic potential made him a prospect just in case he wanted to change. Lewis continued to rule his primary discipline, the long jump, remaining undefeated for 7 years straight. But it would be unreasonable to expect that he would maintain such blistering dominance across such a wide range of events. Other runners were beginning to challenge his feats on the track. He found himself running second to Canadian Ben Johnson more and more often in the 100 metres. Johnson was demolishing the world record, running unbelievably fast times. At Seoul 88, Lewis still managed to win gold in the long jump and silver in the 100 and 200 metres. He ran an American record in the former and an Olympic record in the latter, but was beaten nonetheless. That was until Ben Johnson tested positive to steroids and admitted to the long-term use of performance enhancers. It turned out that his unbelievably fast times were just that. Lewis had his medal upgraded to gold and his time of 9.92 seconds recognised as the new 100-metre world record. Carl Lewis refuses to settle for best. Next. Six gold medals might be enough for a normal champion, but Carl Lewis was busy redefining what a champion could do. Although outpaced on the solo track, he could still handle his leg of the relay and was one of the top long jumpers in the world. He took another 2 gold at Barcelona in '92, and then, in what is one of the more outrageous displays of aging gracefully, managed to win a record-equaling 9th gold medal with the long jump at Atlanta in '96. At 35, he was the oldest qualifier in the field by a distance. Carl Lewis had gone from chasing the benchmark of Jesse Owens to becoming that benchmark for decades to come.
We have a 16-year-old, we have 19-year-olds, we have an 18-year-old on this team, and so I think that there is a lot of excitement that's going to be surrounding these athletes. In the United States, nobody's done that since Carl Lewis. So the fact that we have athletes that we can compare to Carl Lewis and even some doing things as great as he did, younger than he did, is definitely something that's going to make people excited and get them watching again.
With even more precise training regimes leading to even more specialized athletes, it seems all the more unlikely that Lewis's record will be broken again. His single feat in 1984 and his continued success for more than a decade puts him alongside Jesse Owens as a member of an elite club of Olympic icons.
Would you put any other athlete in the realm of the greatest ever?
Yes, I mean, I think, but I'm not going to make an exhaustive list, but I think of, you know, legendary athletes like Paavo Nurmi, Jesse Owens, Carl Lewis, and there are many more that are really idols and icons of the sport.
Despite being the strongest voice in world sport, the USA has a strangely parochial attitude to it. America's game, NFL, is played professionally exactly nowhere else. America's pastime, baseball, is played in a handful of other countries, but its World Series includes none of them. And the most popular sport in the rest of the world, football, is called soccer and relegated to a footnote in the National Sporting Register. It is the odd sport out in a country that stands out for being odd. Being the odd one out was Mia Hamm's natural habitat. As a fiercely competitive girl, she played on the boys' teams. She first played for the national team at only 15, the youngest woman ever to be selected. Perhaps there was some mathematical principle of double negativity at work, but being an odd member of an odd sport evened things out for Ham.
I got to play sports. I just did it because it's what I love to do. It made me feel good about myself. And, you know, for me, that's what I want for my daughters. That's what I want for some of the girls that'll be here. If that's your passion, follow through. And it's taken me, it put me through school. It's made me see and meet people that have just blessed my life and changed the way I look at the world. And I'm just very grateful for what it's done for me.
She was still the youngest on the national team when they played in the first ever Women's World Cup in China in 1991. They cruised through the competition, defeating Norway in the final. Women's soccer was still such an anomaly that the champions were welcomed back by only 3 people. When the Atlanta Olympics became the first to ever award medals in women's soccer, the US team were given center stage to show their country how good the oddballs were. And as their most well-known player, Ham became the team's face, Queen Oddball. Ham was pivotal in the historic 2-1 win over China in the gold medal match. In what was her 120th cap for the national team, she was a key part of both US goals, despite playing injured. The win was watched by over 76,000, the biggest live crowd for a women's event in history. A month before the World Cup kicked off, she scored her 108th international goal, making her the leading international goal scorer in football history. Puskás and Pelé never even scored triple figures. Much like the Olympics 3 years before, the US women's team cruised through to the final against their old rivals, China.
The 2 teams that are in the finals probably have 2 of the most attractive styles of soccer out there right now in the women's game. And I think it's exciting, the fact that we have the opportunity on a world stage to showcase that.
And what a showcase it was. An even bigger crowd. This time, more than 90,000, along with 40 million home viewers, watched the US down China in a penalty shootout in the Pasadena heat.
But as a nation, I think you're seeing, you're going to see more attention drawn to women's sports, and that's a wonderful thing.
The performance was so widely publicized and universally loved that it spurred the creation of the first professional soccer league in United States history, the Women's United Soccer Association. While playing for the Washington Freedom in the WUSA, Ham and the national team had a lean few years. A silver at the Sydney 2000 Olympics was followed by a 3rd place at the 2003 World Cup. Ham also won the championship with Washington that year, but the WUSA folded soon after. Athens 2004 was Ham's 3rd Olympics, and she determined it would be her last. Now unarguably the star of the team, she helped the US to their 2nd gold medal, though she played limited minutes in the campaign.
And I'm incredibly proud to represent my country, the United States. It's, you know, I love the game. Every day I woke up, I wanted to be better, both on the field and off the field. And I want to say that football gave me the confidence and the strength to accomplish anything I put my mind to.
Mia Hamm retired with 2 Olympic gold and 2 World Cup trophies. She scored a record 158 international goals, was twice the FIFA World Player of the Year, won 3 ESPY awards, and was US Soccer Athlete of the Year 5 years straight. Being the odd one out is often frowned upon because it means standing apart. But standing out is the only way to be outstanding, because greatness never thrives in the midst of the masses. The woman who could do it all. Next. George Herman was one. Sonny and Cher had one each. And Paul Bunyan travelled around with an enormous blue one. But even among this world-famous company, Mildred Ella Diedrichson Zacharias remains the most impressive babe of all. The Babe Zacharias legend includes accounts of outrageous athletic performance, outscoring entire teams on the basketball court, almost breaking the world record in the long jump the first time she tried, hitting a golf ball 250 yards with her first ever swing. But the proof of her prowess came at the 1932 LA Olympics. Zacharias, claiming to be 19 but actually 21, won gold medals in the 80-meter hurdles in record time and javelin with her very first throw. She also took a silver in the high jump, missing gold on a technicality. She returned home to Texas a national hero. As glowing as her Olympic performance had been, it was further amplified by her swaggering attitude. When asked what was next by local press, she said, "I'm definitely going to enter the National Golf Tournament for Women in Massachusetts next month, and what's more, I believe I'll win it. I can outdrive most women golfers now, and I've only played 10 rounds of golf in my life." It was hardly the kind of talk that earned her the love of her competitors, but as Muhammad Ali would later show the world, the fans didn't care as long as you could back it up. And Babe could back it up and then some. She quickly won the Texas Women's Amateur Championship after only a couple of years in the sport. That win led to her being denied amateur status, so she turned to the only place left, the PGA. Golfers like Annika Sorenstam and Michelle Wie have played against the men on the PGA Tour, but they have all qualified via invitation. What's more, Michelle Wie is the only woman of the modern era to have ever made the first round cut when competing against men. In 1938, Babe became the first woman to ever compete in a men's professional tournament at the LA Open. At the 1945 LA Open, Babe Zacharias made the cut, the only time a woman has ever done so on the PGA Tour. Against other women, she was unstoppable. She won 17 straight amateur victories, the most ever, was the first American to win the British Ladies Amateur, was a founding member of the LPGA, and had 41 LPGA Tour wins. Her career was cut short by the cancer that would eventually take her life at only 55. But as a sporting phenomena, there has never been anyone, anywhere, ever, to compare to Babe Zacharias.